Okay, so today we will discuss about the all day efficiency of a transformer. Particularly, this all day efficiency is more important in case of distribution transformer. Now, why distribution transformer? As I said earlier, so we have two types of transformer. One is power transformer, and other one is distribution transformer. Now, if you notice, the power transformer is almost all time it is operated closer to the rated load. Rated load, but whereas in case of distribution transformer, this transformer, because it is closer to the residential and industrial communities, so the load on the distribution transformer varies from time to time, and due to this it is a best practice to find out the overall efficiency of a distribution transformer, not by simply doing a normal efficiency, but through all day efficiency. So in case of distribution transformer, we calculate the efficiency using all day efficiency, because the all day efficiency gives the overall energy output for a given input energy. Okay, so let us discuss about this all day efficiency. All day efficiency is normally given by efficiency is equals to output energy by input energy. Okay, or otherwise output energy by output energy plus loss energy. So what is the difference between energy and power? So power is measured in kilowatts and energy is measured in kilowatt hour. So if you multiply the time in hours, you get the energy. Okay, so yeah. So in mathematically I can say that output energy, so it can be any fraction, it can be full load or any fraction of load. So I write down this as x fraction of this rating of the transformer, full load rating of the transformer in either kVA or in MVA, multiplied by the output power factor, right? Output power factor multiplied by the number of hours it is operating in that. This is output in kilowatts, right? And this is, it is operating under that operating condition for so many hours, right? So this is output by output plus losses So normally we have uh, core losses and iron losses. So core losses are constant for any loading condition. So that is iron core losses. Core losses are constant. So I say this is Pi, iron losses, multiplied by the number of hours it is operating under this loading condition, plus copper losses. Copper losses, if I say PC is equals to copper loss at rated load, that is S, then under this loading condition, Sx loading condition, it will be x square times PC in wattages multiplied by hours of operation gives me energy. So this is all in energy and this numerator is all in energy. Okay, so this gives me all day efficiency of a distribution transformer, particular distribution transformer. Okay, so if I give you a small example, let us do this small example. Now say this is a transformer. Okay, so let me say this is a distribution transformer of 100 kilovolt ampere rating with the primary 11 kV and secondary say 230 volts, because I am taking okay, I should take actually by root 3 this side. Yeah, let it be 11 kV on primary and 230 volts on secondary, and it is operating for hours, 6 hours at say 25 kilovolt ampere at 0.7 pf lag. This is one condition given, and second one is 12 hours it is operating. So I am giving for a 24-hour operation, 24-hour operation of this transformer. So for overall 12 hours it will be operating at 75 kilovolt ampere at 0.8 pf lag, and the remaining 6 hours it is operating at full load, that is 100 kVA at 0.9 power factor lag. Okay, and I have also given the iron losses of the transformer to be suppose 1000 watts, and copper losses at full load at rated load, that is 100 kilovolt ampere. So this is, let me take 3000 watts. Now under this condition, if I want to calculate the all day efficiency for about 24 hours, this is 24 hours of operation, how would I do? So all day efficiency is equals to, first let me take this one, 6 hours of operation at 1/4 load at this power factor. So X is equals to 1/4, and X is, in this case it is 3/4, and X is equals to 1 in this case, right? So 1/4 times 100, right? Let me put in kVA itself, multiplied by 0.7 power factor gives me so and so kilowatt, right? Multiplied by how many hours? This is 6 hours, right? So this is one output power, and yeah, next one is 3/4 into 100 into 0.8 into 12 hours, plus 1 into 100 into 0.9 into, this is 6 hours. This is the total energy for 24 hours, right? Now total input under these three conditions, total input, let me take first 6 hours condition, that is output 1 by 4, same thing I am writing, 1 by 4 into 100 into 0.7, this is 6 hours, right? This into 6 hours plus, what is the iron losses? Iron losses is constant, that is 1 kilowatt multiplied by 6 hours plus PC at this is at full load, now at 1 by 4 full load it will be 1 by 4 square, that is 3 kilowatt divided by 16 into how many hours? 6 hours. So this is the total energy input for the first 6 hours or this operation condition, plus the 12-hour operation, that is 3 by 4 into 100 into 0.8 into 12 plus iron losses, same 1 kilowatt multiplied by 12 hours plus copper losses, now it is 3 by 4th load, so 3 by 4 square times PC is 3 kilowatt multiplied by 12 hours plus last 6 hours, that is 1 into 100 into 0.9 into 6 plus core losses 1 into 6, copper losses 1 square into 3 into 6. Now if you take down this ratio, you will get the all day efficiency. Can you quickly tell me this value, anybody?
78.24%.
Yeah, thank you. 78.24%. So please check out. I have given this not from textbook. These values are given on my own. So please check out. So this is how the overall efficiency of the transformer will be, distribution transformer will be evaluated. So power transformer, normally it is operated at full load, so we don't have any ambiguity, but a distribution transformer will operate like this. For some hours it will be quarter loaded, for some hours it will be 3/4 or half loaded, and for some hours it will be full load condition, like that, and some hours it may be no load condition. So under such type of operation, one should be very careful about the core losses. So core losses exist all times, right? So that is why the distribution transformers, while designing, they check out what is the percentage of core loss it is happening in the transformer, and they try to minimize as much as possible without compromising other parameters. Okay, so distribution transformer has bit extra focus. Now if this is clear, then I will move to testing of transformers. Testing of transformers. Okay, so the first and foremost is a polarity test, and OC and SC test, short circuit test, and one more is Sumner's test, and the last one is a separation of pore losses. So Sampna's test and OC test, these all can be carried on single phase transformers or on three phase transformers, but for time being now I will be explaining for three phase transformers. The concept is same, the same logic is extended to the three phase transformers, right? So polarity test, see, we given a transformer we don't know which is a black box. If unless and until they denote by dot convention, it cannot be identified that if a AC voltage applied like this, and at a given instant of time, if this is having positive cycle like this, then there may be a chance that this is positive and negative, or this may be negative or positive, right? So unless and until I keep notation like this, that means, so if a positive voltage cycle is applied here, I will be getting a positive voltage cycle on the secondary side like this, if dot is placed like this, right? So to identify this one, simply what we do is we keep open the secondary side, we short these two terminals like this, and we keep a voltmeter across these two terminals like this, right? And now what we do here, we slowly apply voltage here and check the voltmeter reading. Okay, so this N1 by N2 normally mentioned, the turns ratio is, or voltage ratio is mentioned, V1 by V2 is mentioned, right? Though this turns ratio may not be given, but V1 by V2 voltage ratings will be given, right? So we know that for a given voltage applied here, suppose a 10 volts applied here, suppose this is, let me say this is 100 volts V1 and V2 is 500 volts. So normal operation, if this is dot connection exactly connected, then for a 10 volts applied on the primary side here, 10 volts should give me a 50 volts on the secondary side, right? So if it is properly connected, then voltmeter, the difference of these two voltage should give me a 40 volts reading at the voltmeter. Okay, but if it is connected in reverse way, so normal operation, voltmeter reads the difference of E1 and D2. If opposite in polarity, that means this is negative and this is positive. Now dot convention is not here, but it is somewhere here. So under that condition, what is happening, the voltmeter reads the phasor sum. This phasor is like this and this phasor is like this. So it reads, voltmeter reads the sum of these two voltages, that is in second case it is E1 plus E2. So it reading will be 10 plus 50, 60 volts. So based on these readings, you come to know that the polarity is whether proper or improper. Okay, so that is how you conduct, but make a note that this voltmeter should be capable of reading both. You should such that the sum of these two voltage range should be indicated in that. So normally, if instead of applying direct rated voltage, we do it through a variac auto transformer, such that for small voltages, how the voltmeter is giving me the value. Okay, so is it fine? So this is about the polarity test. And coming to the OC and SC test, this I have already discussed, right? let me briefly again tell me open circuit test. So on a transformer, okay, so again this is taken through variac. Supply. So this is kept open and these meters are placed on LV side and variac is moved till rated voltage. This is V1 and V2 till this voltmeter reads rated voltage of the primary and at the rated voltage of the primary you take down the reading of the ammeter and take down the reading of the wattmeter. So these two readings will give me the no load current drawn by the transformer and no load wattage drawn by the transformer. And we know that under open circuit condition, because this no load current is very very small compared to the rated current of the transformer, so the copper losses which are proportional to I square R, due to this the PC at no load is very very small compared to PC at rated load. Okay, so that is why this is neglected, and whatever the wattmeter is showing the power consumed by the transformer is completely towards the core losses of the transformer. Okay, that's it. So from here you will be, I said I have also given the calculations how you have to find out the cos phi. The V into I into cos phi equals to wattmeter reading, and cos phi is equals to wattmeter reading by V into I, and from here I will be calculating the RC and XM, right? So RC is equals to V by I cos phi, and XM is equals to V by, this is I naught cos phi, and XM is equals to I naught sin phi, because under no load condition we have the phasor diagram like this. This is I naught and this is IR and this is IM and this angle is phi. So the cos component gives me the core loss component and sin component gives me the magnetizing current component. Okay, so that is how the open circuit test goes on. And in case of short circuit, now see, these all parameters RC and XM are obtained towards the low voltage side, right? This is low voltage side of the transformer, so that means this is V1, this is V2 dash, okay, onto the primary. This is RC and XM. Okay, now in case of short circuit test, we keep the secondary is shorted secondary is shorted. Okay, now these meters preferably placed on HV side, because on HV side the current rating is small, so that is why because I need to vary this variac till the ammeter reads rated current of the HV side, this is HV side and this is LV side, rated current on HV side. So I will be wearing this transformer variac till the rated current appears on this ammeter, and then I'll note down the wattmeter reading and voltage, and this is VSC and this is WSC. Okay, now this gives me now, so this VSC is very small. VSC is comparatively very small compared to rated voltage of the HV side or LV side, whatever it may be. So that is why the core losses okay, are proportional to V square, right? So we assume that under this short circuit test, due to this reason, the core losses are negligible, right? So what all the wattmeter reading is showing under this test is completely towards the rated copper losses. Okay, so now how do I calculate the equivalent referred resistance and reactance? Simply so ISC square R equivalent is equals to WSC. So R equivalent is equals to WSC by ISC square, and ZSC on the other side I can say just VSC divided by ISC. Okay, ISC or I rated, what it may be, gives me ZSC. So from these two calculations I can find out XSC is equals to root over ZSC square minus RSC square. Now okay, ZSC, RSC, these are all equivalent impedance values referred onto the HV side. These are the equivalent impedances referred onto the, now earlier this was V1 and this was V2, right? So now I can say these two quantities are onto the this is V2, this is R equivalent, this is X equivalent, and this is V1 prime. Okay, so to draw the equivalent circuit you have to either bring the shunt branch onto the V2 side or the series impedance values onto the primary side. So you can do transformation and get the complete equivalent circuit. So this is briefly I have already explained these concepts in the previous classes, right? So this is about OC test and SC test. From this, once we know the equivalent circuit parameters, then we can find out the efficiency of the transformer under any operating condition. Now next important test is the Sumpner's test. Okay, Sumpner's test, let me first draw the okay. So yeah, this will be the corresponding currents it will be drawing. If I keep this open, they will be drawing their no load currents, right? So before I explain this diagram, say Sumpner's test requires two identical transformers. This is the only drawback of this Sampras test, like in Hopkinson's test and field test, where we require two identical machines of the DC series or shunt machines. Similarly, here also Sampras test requires two identical transformers, right? So here we have the ammeter, we have the voltmeter, and we have the wattmeter to measure the wattage and voltage and amperes. So this under no load operation like this will give me the no load current drawn by total no load current drawn by these both transformers, and this gives me the rated voltage applied onto both primary side of the transformer. And this wattmeter W1, let me say W1, gives me total core losses of both the transformers. Now if I mention the dots like this, that means this is plus and this is plus, this is plus and this is plus. So voltage phasors, induced voltage phasors will be like this, right? So this is E1 or E2, E1 and E2 like this, transformer 1 and transformer 2. Now the requirement of the Sampras test is to connect these phasors in phasor opposition like this. So if I keep a voltmeter here, so it is this is minus plus, and this is plus minus, plus minus, right? So altogether, because of identical transformers and having same voltage turns ratio, these phasors E1 and E2 are equal and opposite, so we will measure a zero voltage here. Okay, now what we do is we try to now pass okay, so I can take the same supply, okay, this is auto transformer, so this is wattmeter W2, this is I2, and this is V2, let me say V2, right? Now so there is one small here, we can place a double pole single throw switch here. So under no load operation, first you can take the readings of W1, I1 and I0 and V, and then once you close this one, keeping this variac at minimum position, and then slowly increase the voltage applied here slowly, and bring the current flowing in the secondary windings like this, the current flowing through the secondary windings like this. Okay, so it will be coming like this. Now this current should be rated value of the secondary windings. So bring the auto transformer pointer such that the ammeter reads rated current of the transformers. Okay, so once you do that, then take the wattmeter reading and the voltmeter reading and this ammeter value. Okay, so now what do you mean by that? So this wattmeter is giving the copper losses of both transformers, and this wattmeter is giving me the core losses of both transformers. Okay, and if you notice, this secondary circulating current will also produce a corresponding primary current. So this is coming like this, and so this is coming like this. Okay, so this is how on the primary side a secondary current has equivalent means N2 I2 equals to N1 I1. On this relationship has equivalent current on primary side, but this current is not affecting the wattmeter reading. Only it is circulating between the windings like this. So this meter does not affect. So this is the brief experimental setup for conducting the Sampras test. And once we have these meters, same thing, you have the W1 by 2 gives me the core loss of the each transformer, and W2 by 2 gives me the copper loss of each transformer at rated current. Okay, so once we have these two, now we can calculate the efficiency at any load condition of the transformers. Okay, so the advantage here is we are simultaneously doing this open circuit and short circuit, both loading condition of the transformers together, so that the core losses now gives me appropriate core losses under operating conditions, under full load operating conditions, so that there may be, because under full load operating condition you have the opposing MMF and then equivalent normal transformer, equivalent MMF drawn from the primary, so that is mimicked here, and this 2 wattmeters gives me more approximate values than the open circuit and short circuit test. So this is all about the Sampras test. Now let me also discuss about the separation of core losses. So we know the core losses are equal to sum of hysteresis losses plus eddy current losses. Let me say this is PC is equals to, not P copper losses, P core losses is equals to PH plus PE. Okay, and this PH is, we know that some constant KH multiplied by B to the power of 1.6 F plus, and eddy current loss is KE B to the power of square F to the power of square, right? Now I can say that if I divide this core by F on both sides like this, so I have P core by F is equals to KH B 1.6 plus Ke B square F, right? Now this is one relation. Now what we can do is, because B flux density in the core of the transformer is proportional to V by F ratio. Now what I have to do is, when I am varying the frequency, simultaneously I have to vary the supply voltage as well. This is one requirement in separation of losses. So always I have to maintain this V by F ratio constant to maintain the flux density in the core constant. So unless and until if I maintain V by F ratio constant, the flux density in the core is also maintained constant. So if I assume this is valid, then this is valid. So I keep V by F ratio constant always, such that B is constant in the transformer. Then I can reduce this equation to P core by F is equals to, this is, now B is constant in the core, so this I have expressing by K1. This is KH is constant and B is constant, so together now I am representing this by K1 plus, and KE and B square, now I am representing it by K2 into F. So this is a simple straight line equation. Y is equals to mx plus c of form like this. So it is a simple straight line equation having intercept. This value is equals to K1 and the slope of this is equals to K2. So, and this function is between F versus the Y is P core by F. P core loss by F. So this is the concept behind separation of the line, separation of the core losses, hysteresis. So once I know the K1 component, this component, then I can simply trace back what is my hysteresis losses. Once I know K2, then I trace back the eddy current losses, right? So if I have one or 2 points, because this is a straight line, 2 points is sufficient for me to draw the line. 2 points is sufficient for drawing the line. So for this, what I have to do? I have to feed a transformer. I should know the core loss wattmeter component. Wattmeter will be there. Ammeter and voltmeter. Okay, let me check. Ammeter and voltmeter also there. Okay, now this is fed from a alternator, because I need to control the frequency and also the voltage. So this is fed from an alternator like this. So I am feeding between phase and neutral, because this is a single phase transformer. Now this is driven, this is stator. The armature is driven through a DC motor, and this is coupled like this, and DC motor is now fed from a starter. This is F, this is armature, and this is what is that line? LVAF. DC supply. So I should have a variac here. I should have a variac, variable rheostat in the field circuit of the shunt motor, such that the speed of the alternator is controlled, and this DC motor is controlling the speed. This DC motor is controlling the speed of the alternator, and we also have the field circuit. Okay, we also have a field circuit which is actually rotating. This is now fed from a variable DC supply. Okay, so by varying this, I can control the output voltage here. I have placed this one here. Okay. So now, so we can calculate the rated voltage of this rated voltage. So rated voltage by 50 Hz. 50 Hz is always given. So this constant is, once we know, then we try to maintain this constant by controlling the speed of the DC machine and excitation. Okay, excitation controls the voltage here, and speed controls the frequency. Speed controls the frequency, supply frequency. So by controlling these two, I maintain V by F always constant and equals to this value, and take down under two operating conditions these wattmeter readings. Now which gives me P core. This is open. Okay, so once I have that, then simply draw P core by F, these values, two values. So I have the wattmeter reading, the corresponding frequency, corresponding voltage, then V by F constant, V by F value, and then V by F value, and that's it. So these are tabulated, at least two number 1 and 2, and this V by F is always equals to the first calculated V by F ratio. So now to plot this, I have to calculate P core by F, one more column, right, and draw this versus these two, and you get a straight line like this. Now this intercept gives me K1, and the slope of this line gives me A2 equals to delta P core by F, some small change by delta F. Okay, so one centimeter change in frequency, find out what is the change in this one. So you can easily calculate the K2. So once I have this K2 and K1 values, then simply remultiply with F gives me this equation. Okay, so what I can say is pH is equals to K1 times F, and PE is K2 times F square. Okay, so given, if I multiply with the rated frequency, then I'll get the hysteresis and eddy current losses at the rated supply voltage and rated 50 Hz frequency. So this gives me the two hysteresis and eddy current losses at rated condition. Okay, any doubts?